They tore down the old home, the beginnings of a brand new lake house. But the project came to a hard stop after Indigenous ancestral remains were found.
Everything in life has a pin in it. We don't make any decisions without thinking about this situation.
Christine and Dan Rayo bought this property in Wainfleet, Ontario in 2020.
It really just felt like a great place to get away, a great place to cottage. But we're also getting older and we're trying to think about where are we going to retire.
They got a permit from Wainfleet Township for the project. Just days in, the foreman called the Rayos.
He said, we've got a little bit of a problem. And he said, we found human remains.
I was called to the scene.
Tanya Hill-Montour is an archaeology supervisor with 6 Nations of the Grand River. Her goal? To protect Indigenous remains and artifacts. She's also one of the appointed next of kin for the Indigenous man found on the Rayos' property, who she believes is at least 1,000 years old.
We need to figure out the next steps of, respectfully for that ancestor, because that's a person.
A 2002 Ontario law triggered what came next. The Rayos were ordered by Ontario's Registrar of Burials to launch what's called a burial site investigation. It involves hiring an archaeologist to determine the origin of the site and how best to lay the ancestor to rest. The owner of the land has to pay for it.
I think we first realized we were in trouble when we were told by the registrar's office it could be 30 to 50 or 30 to 80,000. I think that's when we first had a moment of like, oh my God.
They learned that a burial site investigation is hefty work. One quote estimated 27 days, a crew of 6, 100 square meters of dirt sifted through screens, and local Indigenous oversight. The total, $319,000. If more ancestral remains or artifacts are found, that number could grow.
The reality is our entire property could be dug up to be able to find what it is that they're making sure that they kind of address. But if they find more, this could swell to $1 million.
The law also says homeowners can apply for financial help by arguing the investigation would cause an undue financial burden. It doesn't, however, include any criteria on how homeowners qualify. Christine and Dan applied to the registrar over a year ago for help. They still don't have an answer, and the uncertainty is taking its toll. Do you feel like you're in limbo?
We're in limbo. I sleep 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep a night. We wake up in the middle of the night, you think about this.
We have no idea what that timeline is at this point in time, right? So everything is on pause.
I can't even imagine the investment of man-hours spent to give us no answer. Do they know that we don't sleep at night? Do they know that we cry all the time? Do they know? It's just weird. It's just...
For Hill-Montour, the reason for the delay seems clear.
It's a financial burden so costly that nobody wants to take accountability for it. I truly do not believe that homeowners should be completely responsible for that. Our history comes before that.
Hill-Montour says the Wainfleet Township is ripe for discoveries. It's situated on land well known by experts to have high archaeological potential, meaning a strong likelihood of containing buried archaeological remains or artifacts. Wainfleet didn't note this on the Rayos' building permit. Hill-Montour says the township should have warned them.
The awareness was there. I'll just leave it as that. The awareness was there of that area. Why would you even issue a permit?
I just can't even imagine what it feels like from the First Nations perspective to know that their ancestors are buried on this land and that Wainfleet's like, go ahead and build.
What's more, CBC News has obtained documents that show that there have been at least 100 sites of Indigenous ancestral remains or artifacts documented within a 6-kilometer radius of the Rayos' property. The Township of Wainfleet declined an on-camera interview. In an email, they said they're neither qualified nor authorized to speculate on what may exist beneath a particular property.
Part of this family's problem is everybody passing the buck. Made from different species of wood.
Scott Miller used to work with the Bereavement Authority of Ontario and has intimate knowledge of how the government applies the law. He says it's too vague. Not good, he says, for the Rayos' plea for financial help.
I think the registrar, just my own personal opinion, is very hesitant to make a mistake on a case like this, and therefore it's one of these, we'll just bury our head in the sand and hope it goes away, and it won't.
I really do run on that hamster wheel, right? Trying to figure out, okay, who's accountable? How can we make this stop? How can we avoid this situation for the next homeowner?
It's not just an Ontario problem. In Kamloops, BC, a property owner is out tens of thousands and counting after finding ancestral remains on their land last month. But Hill Montour says there's more than money at stake.
There's a dollar value put towards our heritage and our ancestors and preservation. What's going to happen when the next person views this as, you know, a problem or a financial burden? They're not going to want to do the right thing for reconciliation and truth.
Hill Montour, Miller, and the Rayos are calling for the same thing: new and clear rules that make sense for property owners and Indigenous communities.
Let's sit down and really make a plan, and then we'll say, this is what we're going to do going forward. And so there won't be people just covering up remains they find on their property, because they're going to know there's an end.
CBC News reached out to Ontario's Registrar of Burials multiple times. They said no to an on-camera interview. The ministry overseeing the registrar told CBC News in an email that the Rayos' application for financial help is still in progress and did not give a timeline for a decision. All the things that have to be done. For now, the Rayos haven't started the dig.
It's like the amount of money, the timeline, what happens next, like so much uncertainty. And that's what's been most stressful and kind of emotional on our side, is just not knowing what's next at this point in time, right?
The way it's structured right now, it doesn't work for anybody, regardless of your financial situation.
For now, all they can do is wait.